I sat in the back of a police cruiser for 45 minutes while my neighbors watched from their porches, all because I refused to pay for a vacation I wasn't even invited to, following the weekend. My entire extended family chose to ghost my daughter's 8th birthday party. Before you judge me for the absolute chaos that follows, I need to ask you one thing. If your own mother and siblings treated your child like an invisible ghost and then demanded you hand over nearly $2,000 to fund their fun, would you reach for your wallet, or would you burn every bridge like I did? This isn't just about money. It's about a lifetime of being the family doormat, and the moment I finally decided that my daughter's tears were the last ones I would ever allow them to cause. Tell me in the comments if I'm the villain here, because my mother certainly thinks I am. To understand how we ended up with 3 squad cars in my driveway, you have to understand the dynamic of the Miller family. I'm the middle child, the reliable one, which is just family. Speak for the one who pays for dinner, hosts the holidays, and never complains when plans are changed at the last second. My older brother, Marcus, is the golden child who can do no wrong despite being 34 and still asking mom for rent money. My younger sister, Chloe, is the free spirit, who travels the world on everyone else's dime. For years, I've been the one holding everything together, especially after my husband, David, and I built a stable life for our daughter, Lily. Lily is 8 years old, and she is the kind of kid who remembers everything. She's sensitive, kind, and she absolutely worships her grandmother and her aunt and uncle. For months, Lily had been planning her great galaxy of birthday party. She wanted purple cupcakes, star-shaped sandwiches, and a telescope so she could show her grandma the moon. I sent out the invitations 3 months in advance. I'm talking physical cards, digital calendar invites, and constant reminders in the family group chat. Everyone RSVP'd yes immediately. My mom even told Lily on a FaceTime call that she wouldn't miss it for the world. The day of the party arrived, and the house looked incredible. David and I spent all morning hanging silver streamers and setting up a bounce house in the backyard. We had enough food to feed an army because, as usual, I was expecting my entire family to show up and take home leftovers. The party was set to start at 2:00 p.m. By 2:30, a few of Lily's school friends had arrived, but there was no sign of my mom, Marcus, or Chloe. I checked the group chat. Nothing. I called my mom, and it went straight to voicemail. I called Marcus, and it rang until it cut off. By 3:30, Lily was standing by the front window, still wearing her astronaut helmet, asking why Grandma wasn't there to see the cake. I felt a pit in my stomach that I can't even describe. It's one thing to flake on me, but to do it to a child who has been counting down the days on a literal wall calendar is unforgivable. At 4:00 p.m., a notification popped up on my phone. It wasn't a text back. It was an Instagram notification. Chloe had posted a story. I opened it, and my heart didn't just sink. It turned into lead. There they were. My mom, Marcus, Chloe, and even Marcus's girlfriend, all sitting at a beach front restaurant 3 hours away. The caption read, "Last-minute road trips are the best for the soul. Family time is everything." They hadn't forgotten. They had actively chosen to drive past my city to go to a beach resort for a spontaneous weekend getaway on the exact day of Lily's party. They didn't even have the decency to make up a lie or send a text. They just ghosted an 8-year-old. I spent the rest of the party blinking back tears, trying to keep a smile on my face for Lily, but she knew. Kids are smarter than we give them credit for. When she blew out her candles, she didn't look happy. She looked embarrassed. After the last school friend left and the house was quiet, David found me in the kitchen, shaking with a level of rage I've never felt before. I blocked all of them, not forever, I thought, but just because I couldn't look at their faces. 2 days passed. No apology, no happy birthday, text to Lily, nothing until Tuesday morning. On Tuesday, my phone started exploding. I unblocked my mom just to see what the emergency was, thinking maybe someone was hurt. Instead, I found a flurry of messages in the group chat. They weren't apologizing. They were sending me an itemized list of expenses. Apparently, the spontaneous beach trip had been quite expensive. Chloe had put the entire villa and the dinners on her credit card, and now she was short on her rent. Marcus had forgotten his wallet at the resort, and my mom had spent her grocery money for the month on souvenirs. The total they were asking me to contribute to even things out was $1,850. My mom's text said, "Honey, we know we missed the party, but we really needed this mental health break. We figured since you saved so much money by not having a big crowd at the house, you could help the family out. We're all a bit strapped. $1,850 covers your portion of the family bond we created this weekend. Send it via Zelle by tonight, so Chloe can pay the card." I sat there staring at my screen, laughing like a manic person. They wanted me to pay for a vacation I was excluded from. On the weekend, they broke my daughter's heart, because they viewed my bank account as a communal family resource. I replied with one word, no. Then I blocked them again. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought even they couldn't be that delusional. But hours later, I heard a pounding on my front door. It was Marcus and my mother. They weren't there to apologize. They were screaming about how I was hoarding money and how I was being petty over a silly little birthday party. They stayed on my porch for 20 minutes, shouting that I owed them for all the years they supported me, which is hilarious considering I've been financially independent since I was 19. When David told them to leave, my mother looked him in the eye and said, "We aren't leaving until we get what's ours. That money is family money." So, that's where I was, standing in my own hallway, listening to my mother scream at me through the wood of the door, while my daughter hid in her room because she thought she had done something wrong to make her family hate her. I had a choice to make: give them the money just to make the noise stop and keep the peace, or stand my ground and face the consequences of finally saying no to people who have used me for a decade. Before I tell you about the absolute insanity that happened when the blue lights started flashing and the secret I uncovered about that beach trip, I want you to stop. Pause right here. Go to the comments and tell me, would you have paid the $1,850 just to get them off your porch? Or would you have let them scream until the neighbors called the cops? What would you do if your family tried to bill you for their own betrayal? I stayed silent. I didn't open the door. I told David to call the non-emergency line because I just wanted them trespassed. I didn't want them arrested. I just wanted them gone. But my mother, in her infinite wisdom, decided to beat us to the punch. She called 911. When the officers arrived, they found my mother crying hysterically on my lawn. She told the officers that I had stolen a large sum of money from her, specifically $1,850, and that I was refusing to return it. She claimed she had given it to me for safekeeping, and that I was now embezzling it. The police, obligated to investigate a claim of significant theft, knocked on my door. I was stunned. I showed the officers the group chat. I showed them the Instagram posts from the beach. I showed them the text where my mother literally admitted they wanted the money to cover their vacation expenses. The look on the lead officer's face was one of pure, unadulterated disgust. He walked back out to the lawn and told my mother that making a false police report is a crime. Marcus, being the genius he is, decided to get aggressive with the officer, claiming they had proof I owed them. He started reaching for his phone in a way that was way too fast, and things escalated. While the police were dealing with Marcus's meltdown, I got a call from Chloe. She didn't know the police were at the house yet. She was panicked. She confessed that the family road trip wasn't just a vacation. Marcus had lost a significant amount of money in some investment scam, and he owed some very unpleasant people. They had gone to the beach resort to hide out for a few days, and they were trying to squeeze the $850 out of me to pay off his debt before things got ugly. My mother and sister weren't just being mean. They were using my daughter's birthday as a cover to bail Marcus out of another disaster, and they were willing to send me to jail to get the cash. The police eventually told my family to leave or face immediate arrest for trespassing and filing a false report. My mother looked at me through the window with such hatred it chilled me to the bone. She mouthed the words, "You're dead to us," before getting into the car. The aftermath has been a whirlwind. I haven't spoken to them in 3 weeks. My mother has been calling all of our extended relatives, telling them that I called the police on her for no reason, and that I'm letting Marcus ruin his life because I'm greedy. A few aunts have messaged me telling me to just pay it and move on for the sake of family harmony. I replied to every single one of them with a screenshot of the beach photos posted during the birthday party and a photo of Lily crying in her astronaut helmet. That usually shuts them up. David and I have decided to go completely no contact. We are changing our locks and installing a full security system. It's a heavy feeling, knowing the people who raised you are capable of such calculated cruelty. But looking at Lily, I know I made the right choice. She deserves to be surrounded by people who actually show up, not people who view her as a backup plan or a piggy bank. We took the $850 we saved and put it directly into a high-yield savings account for Lily's college fund. If my family wants to fund their mental health breaks or Marcus's bad bets, they can find a new source of income because this bank is closed for good. The biggest lesson I've learned from this nightmare is that family is a verb, not just a noun. If you don't act like family, you don't get the privileges that come with the title. Blood might be thicker than water, but it's also a lot harder to clean up when someone starts spilling it. I'm done being the reliable one if it means being the one who gets stepped on. I feel lighter than I have in years, even with the silence from my mother's side of the family. It's amazing how much room you have for happiness once you clear out the trash. If you've ever had to cut off toxic family members for your own sanity, please let me know in the comments that I'm not alone in this. Like this video if you were on my side and think I was right to stand my ground against my mother's demands. Subscribe for more stories about setting boundaries and dealing with family drama that sounds too crazy to be true. Share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. Did I go too far, or did they get exactly what they deserved? Thanks for listening to my story, and I'll see you all in the next one.